Mark Taylor. Word from the Lord, December 8, 2022. While some have discerned what is taking place in these days, while the Lord has openly been speaking what is taking place, what he is doing and what this will open, some have either not discerned because they are looking at the physical instead of the spiritual, some really don't want to know because they lust after the things of this world, some are just blind or asleep totally. Again, what is taking place is not a physical war, it is and always has been a spiritual war. Again, this is exposure, uprooting, cutting down the principalities, the powers, the wickedness in heavenly places, the rulers of darkness of this age, which leads to the exposure, the uprooting, the cutting down of the physical hosts that have willingly aligned with the darkness which are in the high places of the world, governments, education, communication companies, city governments, special interest groups, and yes, even in that which is the church. This is exposing, uprooting, cutting down the agenda that the enemy, Satan, instigated, prorogated from the beginning. This is exposing the strategies, plots, that have been going on behind the scenes here in America and around the world. It includes the exposure of those that would be called kings, rulers, gods. It is exposing their plans that they laid, pursued, and implemented on the blind, unknowing, deaf peoples around the world. It is uprooting the twisted, snaking roots that have gone out from the black lifeless tree that was seated in the hearts of a chosen few that would follow Satan for promise of power, mammon, lust, greed, fame, legacy at the expense and the price of others' lives and blood. These roots not only run deep but reach far across nations of the earth. This plot was domination over the peoples by the few. Total control, total power, total domination over life and death. Again, the enemy is trying to speed up time. Again, the enemy wants to rule and reign, to be worshipped, to be upon the throne. Again, this is a wake-up call, a clarion call, to those that say they are Christ's. To those that have yet to be drawn. Again, do not look at the physical, look at the spiritual. Again, God has the victory. Again, not all will awake, not all will be drawn. Again, man will not get the glory, God will. Again, there will be a final great harvest. Again, there will be a rising of the sons and daughters. Again, there will be signs, wonders, miracles following. Again, there will be. Again, there will be. There are many voices out there talking, saying come this way, he is here, he is in this room. Remember what he, Jesus, told you. He said the same way he ascended into heaven would be the way he came back with lightning. Rightly discern these voices, these podcasts, these videos, these voices. The enemy is trying hard to delude, disillusion, blind, distract, using smoke and mirrors. Know this, God does not give you a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind, the mind of Christ. Again, put your armor on, buy your oil, trim your wicks, and watch. Again, this is exposure, bringing down the darkness, for the great harvest is white as snow, the earth is groaning for the revealing of the sons and daughters of God. Again, God has released his warrior prophets throughout the nations. Again, whom God chooses to use to expose this darkness is his choice. Whom God chooses to wake his people is his choice. Some are saying in their hearts, why would God allow this to happen? Examine yourselves. Are you willing to lay down your life to follow Jesus? Would you leave everything you have achieved here to follow Jesus? How much time do you spend talking and walking with Jesus compared to the time you spend furthering your own agendas? Again, this is exposure. Exposure of the darkness of the enemy, exposure of the darkness in men's hearts, exposure of the darkness in the hearts of those that say they are his. Again, if you be Christ's, then you have light in you. The question is, how much light do you have in you? For, the Lord your God has no shadow of turning in him. God is light. God is holy. God is I am.